Welcome to Day 7 of the 2013 Winter Universiade in Trentino. This 26th edition of the Games has been blessed by the spectacular scenery of the Italian Dolomites, as the beautiful weather really brings out the best of one of those picture-perfect corners of the world. The big air as the male slope stylers struck their stub in Monte Bondone. From the Team Gunderson and relay in the final Nordic combined event. The short track speed skating final gets underway in Trentino itself, as South Korea to carry on their flying tradition. And the ski jumpers fly back into action, this time in the men's team event in Freestyle. The last of the freestyle skiing events of this year's Universiade saw the men take on the slopestyle competition in Monte Bondone, with big airs a must for those looking to challenge for the medals. Jan van Enkevoort has to travel away to find any usable snow, given that his native Netherlands is flat as a pancake. And to that end, he now finds himself studying at the University of Applied Sciences and Arts in Lugano, Switzerland. The 27-year-old struggled a little in qualifying, finishing in 5th place with a score of 79.8 from his second run. Come the final though, the Flying Dutchman really hit his form, combining some spectacular jumps with great technique. That's enough for a total score of 84.2. In second place at that stage, although he would slip down the leaderboard a little later on. Poland have been enjoying a great Universiade thus far, and Stepan Kapiel was determined to ride on the back of that success here. The 24-year-old, like many of his teammates in Trentino, based at the Jerzy Kukushka Academy of Physical Education in Katowice, didn't appear to be at all fazed by a disappointing 6th place in qualifying with a 77.6 points. But despite being unable to even match that in the opening round of the final, the man became 26th in the World Championships in Norway earlier this year, really hooked up things up on his second run. Kapiel thought it might even be good enough for gold, but 87 points would see him come up just short. And that's because Kari Laininen had been head and shoulders above the rest here in Monte Bondone. The flying thin, the class of the field in qualifying, he scored 88.2 on his first run and come to final. It was just the first run that would once again do the trick for the 24-year-old from the University of Jyväskylä. Laininen was a 2-time half-pipe world champion in his youth, and those tricks were in evidence here too. Nobody else came even close to matching his grace and technique through the air. He scored 87.6 on that first run, set the bar very high. Despite the best efforts of Kapiel on the final run, the gold already in the bag before Laininen took to the snow for a second time. 87.6. So Laininen grabbing Finland's second gold of these games after Sami Niemi on the ski jumping's normal hill, with Kapiel and Enkevoort just behind on the podium. Another Finn, Henri Koskelainen, was third on the first one but faded to 5th just behind Maxime Fournier of France. The climax of the Nordic combined competition soared into view on Wednesday with the Team Gunderson and 3x5km cross-country race. And there would be thrills and spills aplenty as a race for medals went right down to the wire. This competition got underway with a ski jump, with the scores from all 3 team members being counted towards their aggregate score. Yuri Shimizu took bronze in the individual event and gold in the mass start. He would lead Japan to first place after the first jump here too. Slovenia have a fine tradition in ski jumping, but flattered to be seen this time. Borut Mavic faring no worse than his teammates, but they had ground to make up, finishing in 5th place. Poland, one of the favourites for the title, with three consistently excellent jumps headed by Szczepan Kupczak. We see them just behind the Japanese at the start of the cross country. So the Japanese were taking a 5-second lead into the 3x5 kilometre cross country section. The Germans starting in third, 32 seconds back, led by Tobias Simon, but expecting to suffer on the snow. Russia starting in fourth, and Slovenia with a massive 52 seconds to make up on Japan in fifth place, just ahead of Norway. Both of those teams expected to mount a serious challenge. By the time of the first changeover, Go Yamamoto had kept Japan in the lead, but that lead now all but gone. Kupczak still keeping in touch in second place. Mads Christopher, the fastest of all. Norway now just 14 seconds back in fourth. By the time of the second exchange, Japan's lead now out to 8.9 seconds, with Poland still in second place. Norway now up to third, with Slovenia in fourth place, thanks to some great speed from Jose Kamenik, to play for in the final leg of this race. The final leg saw Shimizu really struggle. He was soon overtaken by Slovenia, Norway and Poland. Norway even in the lead with 2.5 kilometres to go. Emil Storjord Wilhelmsson really putting the pedal to the metal, although it was all still very close. But then disaster. Wilhelmsson and Shimizu both hitting the snow after a tangle of skis. Both their hopes of the title now gone. Down to the finish then, Adam Šešlar, already with a gold from the individual event and a silver from the mass start, brought Poland home in first place, easing the gap out to 7.8 seconds over Slovenia, anchored by Maciej Plažnik. Somehow, Shimizu picked himself up from that fall to finish just 4.6 seconds further back and grab the bronze medal. Poland, the star turn here in the Nordic combined in Trentino, with 2 golds, 1 silver and 1 bronze medal to show for their efforts after a fine team display. Spare a thought for the Norwegian team though, having tangled with the Japanese on that final leg. They'd ultimately finished just 0.7 of a second behind in fourth. Short track speed skating finally got underway on Thursday, with the women competing in the 1500 metres on the 111.12 metre track in Trento itself. This is the first of 8 events at these games, 6 individual and 2 relays. As ever in recent years, the South Koreans and Chinese expected to dominate. The field for the women's final, as predicted, made up of 3 Koreans and 2 Chinese, with just 1 European, Bernadette Haydam from Hungary, breaking up their monopoly. As is often the case, the start slow and cagey, with the skaters content to simply jockey for position. Midway through the race, and China's Guo Yihan leading for the moment, followed by the Korean Lee Yun-bio in a tightly congested field. Spills commonplace in short track skating due to the cut and thrust nature of the event. Another Korean, Song Jae-won, being spat out of the field and into the crash matting. Haydam taking her chance to move into pole position, having taken a bronze in the relay 2 years ago. Meanwhile, replays showed that it was a collision with the Hungarian that triggered Song's exit from the race. The finish fast and furious, Lee leading the way, with 2 Chinese following her every step. Guo, another one to find herself in the barriers in the dash for the line, while it was compatriot Tao Zhe-ying that took the gold. Replay showing that Guo lost her edge at speed in that fall, leaving Tao celebrating. Haydam just edging the race for the silver medal, ahead of the first Korean to finish, Hwang Hyun-sun. That's China's 3rd gold in the last 7 Universiades in this event. The big surprise of this event, the failure of Lee to add to her medals from Turkey, where she took home the gold in the 1,000 and 1,500 metres, as well as the relay. She's also a silver medalist in the 2010 Olympics in Vancouver. On to the men's event then, where South Korea have run roughshod over the opposition in recent Universiades, taking the gold medal on the last 6 editions and 9 of 13 in total. As usual, a measured start to this race, with 3 Koreans in the field, along with a pair of Japanese, a Canadian and a Frenchman. Six-time world champion No Jin Kyu, the hot favourite for this one, especially after taking gold in the 1500 metres in both 2011 and 2012. The Korean winding up the pace at midway, with Canada's Johan Gauthier gamely hanging on to his coattails. These two stretching a small gap over the rest of the field at this stage. Reigning 3,000 metre world champion Kim Jun-ye decided to make a late move for the front with No seemingly away and clear. A collision with Cheon-ho will put pay to that though. No just taking the gold by blades width from with Gauthier claiming an unexpected bronze. Replays showing that Kim actually tripped over his own point before being spat out into the barriers, leaving No away and clear to take the title, a 7th consecutive success here for South Korea. As expected then, South Korea ruling the men's short track speed skating right from the off with the gold and silver in the 1500 metres. Gauthier will be delighted with that bronze medal though, in such a high quality field, taking it comfortably ahead of Japan's Hiroki Yokohama, with Frenchman Vincent Jean in 5th. The judges not interested in any protests. This discipline continues on Thursday with the 500 metres for both men and women. The cutting-edge lighting system at the Prodezzo Ski Jumping Stadium was called into action once again on Wednesday night as the men limbered up for the 3-man team competition. All 3 jumps counting in each of the 2 rounds in this event, so there's no room for mistakes or weakest links as the Japanese look to defend their title they won for a 4th time 2 years ago. The Japanese, in fact, getting off to a solid start in this competition. Junshiro Kobayashi has been their form-man here in Italy. He was a star performer by a long way in the first round. That jump of 102 metres, the longest of the round, worth 131 points for his team as they moved into 3rd place. Mikhail Maximoshkin has been a one-man medal machine over the last week here in Trentino, taking bronze on the normal hill and then leading the Russians to gold in the mixed event on Tuesday. 101 metres was good enough, but with his great style marks, also enough for the biggest score of the round and 2nd place for the Russians. Krzysztof Bajga was edged into the silver medal position in the individual competition on this normal hill, but backed by his Polish teammates. The 19-year-old was determined to go one better this time, as Poland looked to win this event for the very first time. Bajga with a solid 100-metre jump, but thanks to great backing from his teammates, that was enough to lead after the opening round of the competition. Poland, Russia and Japan out in the lead then, but Austria very much in the mix as well. Level on points, the Japanese after the opening round, looking to improve with their 2nd attempts. Their team of Daniel Kuba and David Unterberger, anchored by Clemens Eigner, and he soared out to 97.5 metres to really pressurise a stuttering Japanese team. A team total of 721.9 would be enough for the bronze medal, but only by 6/10 of a point. The Russians with a 6-point lead over the Austrians and Japanese after the first round. Roman Sergeyevich Trofimov and Maximoshkin will be upstaged by Alexander Sadiko in the final round though. The 23-year-old came 6th in the individual competition, and his 97.5 metre jump in the final round here would be good enough for 127.1 points. That kept the Russians 5.8 points clear of the fight for bronze, but still well short of gold. In truth, Poland utterly dominated this event, coming into the final round with a 12.7 point lead, and then simply pulling away from the field as each round of competitors flew into action. Alexander Shishko led off superbly, ably backed up by Bartolomei Krysek, but both were put into the shade by Baigan, who celebrated the title with the longest jump of the night, 103.5 metres. Poland easing to gold by a near 30-point margin. Poland delighted to take their first ever gold medal in this event then. They're sure to have their dander up for the final ski jump event on Friday night, when the men take on the Big Hill. The speed skating part of this Universiade is now swiftly drawing to a close, even after a week in which we've seen records broken for some, while others have seen defeat snatched from the jaws of victory. The last of the individual events saw the men line up for the 10,000 metres. Longest distance raced here in Trentino, with the sun once again shining over the outdoor rink in Biselga de Pine. All the excitement in this event came in the final two pairs, and the seedings worked perfectly. Evgeny Sergeyev was last seen 5 days ago, landing himself a silver medal in the 5,000 metres, finishing just behind the dominant Jan-Marek Szymanski, who's already finished these games with 2 golds and 1 silver medal. Sergeyev, who is studying at the Moscow State Pedagogical University, turned 25 on the eve of these games and got off to a great start in this event, finding himself in P1 at every split and remaining very consistent for the opening 17 laps. The same could not be said for his partner on the ice, Poland's Peter Paweł Grzecki, making his only appearance of these games and finding himself completely outclassed, ultimately over 50 seconds behind the Russian in 15th. Sergeyev, meanwhile, despite starting to slow a little over the last 7 laps, still able to move into first place at the time of 13 minutes 50.72 seconds. Last to take the ice, the 2 favourites for the title, Pim Kazimierz and Lee Jin-yong. Kazimierz without a medal thus far at this Universiade, having come home in 4th place in the 5,000 metres on Friday and then 11th in the 1,500 metres on Sunday. He seems more comfortable in the longer events. Lee, meanwhile, has already been carrying on South Korea's fine tradition in speed skating. The 24-year-old from the Korea National Sports University in Seoul claimed a bronze medal in the 5,000 metres, just ahead of Kazimierz and just behind Sergeyev, before slumping to 11th place in the 1,500. Both these men behind the time set by Sergeyev early in the race, but while the Russians started to sag after the 17th lap, these guys really started to motor. Lee leading the way at first, but with 4 laps to go, Kazimierz seemed to find his second wind. The Dutchman actually posted the fastest times of his entire race over the last couple of laps to take gold in 30 minutes 44.19 seconds, leaving Lee trailing behind in second place, more than 4 seconds distant. Kazimierz then continuing the Netherlands' strong tradition in this form of speed skating, although he was 16 seconds short of the Universiade record set by compatriot Mark Ujevaya in the 2007 event in Torino. His comparatively strong finish saw the Korean claim the silver, leaving Sergeyev perhaps regretting his own lack of pace down the stretch, although he did beat another Korean, Kim Chul-min, to the bronze.